Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show. Hello and welcome to the Roguecast. It's another big giant week.
I'll say it's a very good week.
It's a very good week for comics. We are going to be very excited talking about all the comics that came out this week, including Superman, Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But before we get to all that, do want to say that, as always, clearance sale still going on. 50% off. Still a lot of good graphic novels and games back there.
Yeah.
And that we have a Heat tournament, the board game Heat Pedal to the Metal, coming up.
Yep, Formula One racing in the 1960s, very beloved game. And we've got some sign-ups, but we need a few more.
It is going to be. It moved from Friday, April 10th to Friday, April 3rd because of scheduling stuff. So it will be the first Friday in April, which is a couple weeks out, maybe next week.
Yep.
So,
don't you want to get behind the wheel? Don't you want to own some people and get some possibly cool little figs out of it?
So come out and either learn or play Heat with us. That's 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night on Friday, April 3rd. It'll be after hours. So you get a after hours Rogues as well.
Oh yeah. Rogues After Dark.
Rogues After Dark. Not that.
Not that.
We got games in this week. We got the G.I. Joe Heroescape. Heroescape is that it's got
the little
collectible terrain and miniatures.
Right, it's like modular terrain, and it's been the people who played it, who might have grown up with the original Heroescape, it's a pretty beloved thing.
Yep. We got Risk G.I. Joe Special Missions, which is the G.I. Joe flavored Risk. Mm-hmm. We have.
Is there any special thing going on that the G.I. Joe is kind of getting a little oomph right now?
It's Renegade Studios. They have it.
Okay.
They did the RPG. They've been doing the RPG. They did X and Allies. So.
And by the way, the figures for the Heroescape one is kind of cool because there's one that has like, I'm going to say generic Cobras, but they're actually very cool looking and they have different gear and stuff.
Yep.
And then there's like a generic Joe's one where they have like the green jumpsuits of like the original Joes. Yep. But again, there's like some cool gear with them and vehicle, even a little vehicle thing like a helicopter. And this is cool. If you're a G.I. Joe fan and you do Heroescape or you think you might want to, it looks cool. Get it and tell me how it is.
Dice Throne, the popular combat Yahtzee game, they've been doing these 2-player packs, and they're now going to sort of single-player packs, which is their new thing. And they're starting with the Alchemist, which is a new character.
Yep. Dice Throne is a thing where it's always a kind of a versus match.
Yes.
And any one of them can play any other one.
Right.
It just used to be in 2 packs.
Right. And Dice Throne Adventures Unchained, which is an expansion for Adventures, which turns it into a co-op game. The Adventures is currently unavailable to us, but if you have Adventures, this adds a new villain, some new treasure, that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
We got a game called Take a Seat, which is a party game. It's a writing game, and it says you also do shared space together with your neighbors. Don't know much about this one. It's just a writing game with...
A party writing game sounds fun. Yep. This is one I will look more into.
Same publisher did a game called The Battle of Versailles, which is not about French warfare.
Oh?
It is a fashion show held in 1973 that pitted 5 American designers against 5 French designers. In this game, it's a 2-player game. You're either France or US. You're playing action cards to show off your best dresses, attract the most popular celebrities, or annoy the opponent by spreading bad gossip.
That sounds delightful.
They also compete to contribute more than their opponent to the reconstruction of the Palace of Versailles. You love a good theme, and these guys make good 2-player games. We've got Fortunes of Scoundrel Bay, which is a board game, Euro-style board game, where you're playing pirates. You're building up a crew, upgrading your ship, trying to outwit your rivals. And there's also ship combat with monstrous creatures.
That sounds like a blast. Game more pirate games.
Fea's Swamp. You take the role of a clan of swamp dwellers aiming to become the most prosperous in the area.
Man, talk about slice of life.
You also venture into nearby abandoned temples whose powerful deities lie in wait to be awakened.
We've all been there.
And we got the new core set for the Arkham Horror card game. That's the living card game, which has been doing surprisingly well.
My brother picked that up and was like, I didn't think just like a new edition would like intrigue him. I'm like, he's been getting this for like a decade or whatever, all the original stuff. But he was hyped for it and excited for it. And I just literally rang up a customer a few minutes ago who was also excited. I know that like part of the underpinning of this new initiative is a greater approachability. Like, I don't think they have, like, downgraded the mechanics or dumbed anything down.
No.
But it sounds like they're going to make it so that, like, the story arcs and stuff, essentially the campaign part of it, are not, like, sort of these long, epic-length campaigns that they'd been doing before. It is meant to be more like you could kind of pick up any one of them and easily jump in.
Yeah.
And because I've actually played this before a few times with my brother, it is a cool game. So yeah, if this is one of those that's held any interest for you, watch a YouTube video or read a review or two, and you may well want to give it a shot.
Just don't summon Cthulhu.
Do summon Cthulhu.
And okay,
I don't want the destruction of
let the people have fun, Nick. Let them have fun.
I think in the next couple of weeks we're going to get like 8 different investigator packs.
Cool.
So
cool.
New characters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing we have another party game called Green Team Wins. It's 15 rounds, 3 types of questions, fill in the blank, this or that, and multiple choice. You have random cards. Players simultaneously answer one question at a time. You write them down.
Mm-hmm.
Players with the winning answer join the green team and score points.
Okay.
If your answer is not the most popular among the other players, you join the orange team and score 0 points. If you join the green team from the orange team, you score 1 point. And if you're on the green team and stay on it, you win 2 points. And you're trying to be like... So whoever's on the green team wins.
You want to stay on there the longest term possible.
You want to stay on the green team.
And if you're on the orange team, you lose.
Orange team loses.
Orange
is the
team
unspoken
loses.
part of this game.
That sounds like a good, goofy party game fun.
Yeah, fun. All right, let's talk comics. And let's start with
the big one.
The big one, which has 26 different covers.
Right? This is Superman, Spider-Man.
Superman, Spider-Man.
Right? This time, the previous Marvel DC crossover was Deadpool, Batman, and they each, basically the format that they're following is each company does one, a few weeks or a month apart.
Right.
And so this is the DC version of this.
This time DC goes first, last time Marvel did.
A few weeks we get the Marvel one.
Yep.
This is 2 weeks, I believe. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's kind of close, I remember.
So the lead story is by Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez. Jimenez is the artist on Batman currently.
Right, he's been killing it on Batman.
And it's a lot of fun. It uses two iconic villains from Superman and Spider-Man. I
think we can say the sort of hook that they use at the beginning, which is, I thought, very neat. Since both of Clark and Peter both have associations with newspapers, they are on a story together, basically.
Yep.
Pete is doing photography for Clark.
Yep.
And that sort of, their investigation sets some things in motion, or brush up against things. Oh man, I'm just flipping through it and this splash page is so good.
Yeah, the art is spectacular.
I feel like the raised arm Superman has there make him look like he's going super fast.
This is treated, they don't do a big how did you get to my world? This is a continuity probably based on the original Superman Spider-Mans where Spider-Man and Superman just know each other.
Yep. Right, that was the crossover they did in either late 70s
Late
or
70s, it was one of the
80s.
first ones. It may have been the first one.
I think it might have been. This is kind of cool. They just casually know each other's identities and just talk about it as such.
And then they finish out the stories with 4-pagers mostly, I think.
Yeah,
maybe 4 to 6.
There's a couple of
this is all so there's
ones.
that main story, and then other small crossovers.
Yeah, Lois Lane and Mary Jane by Tom King and Jim Lee.
Right.
Superboy Prime and Amazing Spider-Man by Christopher Priest and Daniel Sampere.
Is that the...
Sampere is the Wonder Woman artist. Priest has done a bunch of stuff.
I was trying to think that the Spider-Man in this. Oh, that's interesting.
It's
I forgot.
the symbiote.
It's or where it's Black Costume Spider-Man.
Costume,
yeah, from back in the day.
Superboy and Spider-Man 2099 and another guest star not named by Sean Murphy. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen and Carnage by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber, which I think we would all say is our second favorite story.
Amazing.
Because that's following up Fraction's run on.
Matt Fraction did a good kind of meta and
semi-goofy,
snarky and fun Jimmy Olsen comic some years ago.
It's very
this feels like it's a through line with that, and I love the weirdness of this crossover.
Yep.
Yes. Jonathan Kent and Ben Parker by Jeff Lemire and Rafa Sandoval.
That is a crazy idea, but also pretty cool. They are the rocks, the pillars of their universes.
Daily Planet and Daily Bugle by Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott.
This is actually a pretty cool little story about kind of journalistic ethics.
Yeah.
And then the weird one, a weird team up of Power Girl and the Punisher by Gail Simone and Belen Ortega, which I think Nick and I would both say is our third favorite of the stories.
Yes.
It's pretty close to mine too. It might fall in there.
By the way, can we say who Power Girl's going on a date with, because that cracked me up.
Wait,
that poor guy. It's Paul.
It's Paul.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And Paul's
From the Spider-Man comics.
Yes.
Paul's defining characteristics now in continuity that they've swerved into
He's
is
just a
that
schlub.
everybody hates him.
Yep.
That he's a basically decent guy, but everybody hates him anyway. And he's always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep. And if you haven't seen him, he's like the ponytail kind of cliche of like a sort of a soy boy kind of guy.
Yeah.
But like he's usually presented as very decent and well-meaning, but he is always hated.
But he's also annoying, and he stepped in between Mary Jane and Spider-Man, so he's always going to be hated.
He is a little bit like back in the old days. I know that they did some other stuff with the character on who's the teacher on South Park.
Yes, Mr. Handy. Yeah,
he has a bit of that.
he does.
But I thought Gale used him pretty well, and put him in a story that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. This is a fun book, and it really works. There are, like I say, 26 different covers to choose from.
Yep. Some
lot
of
of
these are
good
amazing.
ones.
What was it? What is the one with Black Cat on it? Is Black Cat and
Power Girl.
Power Girl?
Boob Window team.
Right,
Boob
it's
Window.
the cuties. There's a Crypto.
My favorite is the Evan Sheener that has the Spider-Mobile and the old...
what do you call that thing? The Superman
It's a Supermobile.
It's from the Superpowers toys line.
My favorite is Gabriel Delato's Black Suit Superman, Black Suit Spider-Man.
Yeah, that one's really good.
But there are a lot of good covers.
It's great.
It is.
Marvel has Fantastic Four First Foes this week. This is set in the MCU version of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they did a little prequel, right before the movie, or right around the movie.
And this is in the same style as that. Now, the prequel, as with this one, says authorized by the Futures Foundation. The idea of this is an object from that universe.
That world,
this is this is a marketing thing.
And this is the same creative team, right? It's Mark Buckingham
and Dan Slott.
But loosely,
I don't think Dan Slott was the original creator on that one. I thought it was Fraction.
Oh, you're right. It was Fraction.
I don't have I really like the Fantastic Four movie. A minor complaint I had is that it was so cool to hear them mention a lot of the supervillains that they had already fought, but to not really see any of them was except for Mole Man.
Yep.
Mole Man was great.
Yep.
And here we kind of get our chance to see somebody else.
Yeah.
Their take on this villain I thought was really interesting and folds him neatly into the MCU versions origins, and I really they're going to do more of these. These are all, it looks like a series of one shots with different characters. I'm looking forward to more. What I realized after reading it is that because they wind up in the MCU, you can do as much as you want in their period universe and not contradict anything.
Right.
Exactly.
So I really liked this. I thought it was a really good Fantastic Four. There's also an issue of the regular Fantastic Four this week that I also really liked. Mm-hmm. And then let's talk about all the DC stuff that is the All-In Phase 2.
So I thought they killed it last week with Lobo, Deathstroke.
Well, that was actually a different thing. That's a different program.
Well, that's the next, but
that's next level.
That's next level, but it feeds into this because it's all the same.
So those are the ones that are doing characters who haven't had a title in a while.
Right.
The main All-In Phase 2 is this week is just kind of jumping on points for the characters and usually a new direction.
Well, and in some cases, in a lot of cases, it's the same creative team that was working on it. But the one that was my favorite this week is a new creative team. It is Ryan North from Fantastic Four and One World Under Doom, and a few other things, doing The Flash with
Wally West,
Gavin Guidry on art.
Yep. Who I don't know who that is, but I thought this was really good art.
It was very good.
It's Wally, it's Linda. They have their two kids who have powers, and their new toddler who has powers. We don't know what they are yet. But it's not all about the kids.
We do know what they are. They actually mentioned it.
Did they say what it was? I don't remember what it was.
Super speed.
The little baby?
Yeah, they're all connected to the super speed.
The two kids, one super strength, one super speed, but the baby, I think, is super speed. I don't know how that manifests.
Oh. I thought they said he has powers or something like that, but not.
Take a look.
He said Baby Waid also has Speed Force powers. That's all he said.
Oh, well...
He doesn't say they can run fast.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't have super strength or anything.
The brother literally has super strength because of Speed Force.
Yeah, the super Speed Force interacts with him in a different way.
Yeah. Anyway, we talked about this years and years back. They tried to do a sort of Wally West super family book, very much an Incredibles kind of.
And it was Mark Waid who really is the Flash guy.
Yep, but it was not particularly good.
It didn't work. This, I think, because the focus is on Wally and not on the kids.
You see them, but they're not the main characters. It doesn't feel like they're trying to force it too much.
Yep.
It's really good.
Also, this is a minor thing, but he gives Wally the sort of blank white eyes that he had on the
90s era?
The 90s era, and I always liked that costume.
Yep.
There's some really fun interactions in this, including a thing with one of his supervillains that he deals with, where the supervillain, like, he's going to do some little bit of flashy stuff to do some super science, but he doesn't know the science of it, and the villain does, and which is kind of hilarious.
This is all narrated by Wally as if he's talking to the reader, which is kind of cool. And his take on the Speed Force, where he's like, "Yeah, I respect science. It's great. Barry's a scientist. I'm not a scientist. I know the Speed Force breaks science rules." I thought that was a really cool take on the Speed Force.
And because we know that from Fantastic Four that Ryan North kind of likes a little more hard sci-fi snuck in. It's like it's still big ideas, but there's some hard sci-fi stuck in there. He has Wally say, like, you know, I know a little bit about how, like, you know, if you have, like, put all the energy that I do into this, that it should create, like, a nuclear explosion, but the Speed Force stops that from happening. And he's, you know, basically he says that unlike Barry, he kind of just puts his faith in the Speed Force.
I like that I like some small stuff. That North doesn't ignore him as a family man.
Well,
him cooking dinner.
He's forgot to cook the casserole, so he tries to heat it up using the Speed Force, and
which is to say, he doesn't like put his hands over it real fast. He goes running like around the world
and uses
with it,
friction,
and uses the friction on that
to maybe not the best.
If you've ever made a hot pocket,
Linda's description is like, it's burnt on the bottom, it's frozen on the top, almost like someone ran it through orbital reentry speeds in a desperate attempt to reheat it quickly.
And he says,
between those two zones, it's cooked perfectly, right? By the way, he's wearing a Nightwing shirt this whole time.
Yeah. I also think North gets Wally as kind of not a jokester, but he's definitely a lighter guy.
Well, a guy who was a jokester and grew up.
He's still a little bit immature.
Right.
He's a father and he's a hero and all that stuff, but he is a little bit of a jokey arrested adolescent, which I like quite a bit. Did you guys read? Did you guys read all the classified ads?
Yes.
Yeah, I read most of them. I didn't read. They
were cracking me up.
Yeah.
There's the. But I think my favorite was the guy who's like, Batman kicked his butt. Yeah.
Yep.
Lawnmower's funny too, but the Batman kicked my butt and.
The thing about the Riddler holding up traffic.
Someone's trying to sell their Gotham City apartment because I thought it'd be cool living at the same time as a murder clown. But yesterday the Riddler held up traffic just to quiz everyone. I'm done.
It feels like Ryan North put a lot into this first issue. You can kind of tell when a writer is like really busting their butt.
We talk about all this kind of small stuff. I actually thought the threat was really interesting.
I have never seen anyone do something like this, and I think it's a really interesting plot.
Oh, yeah. I was actually getting angry at the threat.
Right? You're like, this is... Yeah, it's because it's like he kind of confronts him, and he's like, what are you going to do about it? And he's like, I can't do anything about it. And it's pretty good. By the way, one more... my actual favorite classified. What kind of a name is Eobard Thawne? I think it's a stupid name, and I don't care who knows it. Hey, Eobard, you disagree? Why not come back in time and stop me from posting this classified ad? Yeah, that's what I thought. Which, by the way, I don't know that I'd be taunting the Reverse Flash in the newspaper.
I don't think I would either.
But
it's a great series. Basically, there is a point in this where the classified ads come up, and surrounding the relevant one is a bunch of goofy fun stuff.
Yes, yeah. A great first issue back.
It was really, really good.
It's one of those, it's weird it's Flash number 31, because it really is like a number one.
It is a number one. Another one that is essentially a number one.
All of these are kind of jumpy on points, but that Flash in particular is a jumpy on point.
Superman number 36, same creative team. It's Josh Williamson and Dan Mora.
I know, but it's a completely different character.
Well, it's a different Superman. It's
the
Superboy
same creative team as Superman usually has, not the Flash.
Yep. It is Superboy Prime is taking over Superman, who vanished during KO.
This is Superboy Prime, who, just in case you don't know the continuity, he has a crazy backstory, but he is a kid from the real world, our real world, who got Superman's powers.
And then went psycho.
When Jeff Johns was writing him in the 2000s. It was the idea being, because he had Superman level powers, like old school Superman, like I'm going to move the sun kind of almost level. And so having him be a bad guy was a fun twist.
But Joshua Williamson during KO kind of took him back from the brink a little bit.
Yep, and he acknowledged. Now they also leaned into normally I would not say this in a kind way, but a little bit of Deadpool with him. He is, or Gwenpool.
I would say he's more of a Gwenpool than he is a Deadpool.
Because he's aware he's a fictional character and that DC is a fictional series of stories around him, and he's commenting on it kind of all the time. Like, there's a villain who shows up in this, and I won't say the context or anything, but he does say, wow, very 90s or something like that.
Such a deep cut.
Yeah. And he, like, this is the kind of thing that could easily annoy me, but Josh Williamson has been doing this throughout his Superman run in his appearances, where he has also, again, been on a redemption streak.
Yep.
He's not a villain anymore, but he has a bit of bad boy, kind of loose cannon vibe to him.
Yes.
And he is fun to watch.
He is.
Agreed.
And I like the...
Oh, and by the way, if we didn't say, from DC KO, Superman himself is missing.
I did say that.
Okay, that's why he has to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the what they put the Superboy into. I mean, he's not trusted by the Justice League members because he knows all their secrets. He knows all of their pasts.
Yeah, they don't like him.
And they're like, oh my god, we can't have this guy around.
Right.
That's just... How would you like him to know
like
the person?
read the key issues.
Yeah, he has the DC Encyclopedia. He knows.
Right. But what he does do in the issue is he's like, if I'm going to be Superman, if I'm going to replace him, I'm going to try and set up a sort of life instead of just being this guy who's like this kind of weird fringe guy.
He's kind of spurred onto because Lois forces him to.
Right. Yeah. Lois is in this too. They're all well written. It's nicely drawn.
It's a really good first issue. I mean, I know it's issue 36,
but it is a first issue.
But for this character, seeing him brought back from the John's brink, in such a way, I think Williamson definitely has a shine for him.
Yeah, if you have not been reading Superman, this is a good time to jump on.
It is. It's a great issue.
Detective Comics by Tom Taylor starts its fourth arc.
With a very cool premise.
Yes, so this is Batman, Green Arrow, and Black Canary working together in Gotham City.
Yep. There's a mystery that deals with something that happened with them in the past.
Yes, and also Black Canary has inherited Wildcat's gym, because Wildcat apparently has lost the last of his 9 lives. There's a really fun fight in this.
Yeah, I thought that
basically,
was really good.
Black Canary is like, invites somebody in the ring, Bruce Wayne gets in the ring with her, and they're like, we're not actually going to touch, we're just going to do the fight.
They'll stop short of impact, but
there's a really cool 2-page spread of them. You see them like ghost fighting almost.
Well, there's a reason for it too,
because Cassandra Cain, who grew up reading body language, she knows where the hit. She's basically reffing it. She knows where all the hits will be.
Right, and they're expert fighters, so they also know who it is. So it's basically like, we can pantomime a fight, and we're going to know who won.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
It's such a cool...
this is basically their tribute to Wildcat, right?
Yeah, it's such a cool idea, and it's executed really well by Mikkel Jennin.
But I didn't know that that Wildcat had died. I guess that was in a recent issue of JSA, which Jeff Lemire is doing.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't know that, like, I'm not like, oh no, I do love Wildcat as a character, but the way they're like handling it in this... Well, just as a counterexample, it's so much better than when Alfred died to no fanfare whatsoever a few years ago.
Yep. Well, this is also Taylor. He's gonna...
Right. Yep. He did a great, Alfred stories after the fact. He fixed some of what Tom King didn't do.
Oh, it's not Mikkel Jennin. It's Pete Woods doing the art here.
Oh, I didn't notice that. And it's like, it is some of the best art I've seen from him.
Agreed. There's also the opening scene where Batman undercover meets up with Green Arrow. Yeah. There's some great moments in there. Tom Taylor is so good at this. Yep. The bit of I didn't see your name on it cracked me up. This was fantastic, and I've been waiting for Taylor to write some more Green Arrow and Black Canary, and so I'm thrilled to see it. Justice League Unlimited number 17 starts with an interesting idea of them springing the villains to join the JLA.
Yeah, essentially after DC KO and that Superman gone missing, there's some chaos going on, and basically they're considering the possibility, which is brought up in a very kind of interesting and mysterious way, of bringing in some villains onto the team to help give them some extra muscle, but like. There's a bit where they're talking about the Phantom Zone, and Superman had the notion, I guess, in the past, which had already been established as a story, of not just the Phantom Zone being there for punishment, but for rehabilitation.
Yeah. And
so I like the idea of the superheroes leaning into sort of forward-thinking ideas like, yes, let's rehabilitate these villains. And so, but there's also a crazy opening sequence that's like, shows what that might look like.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep.
When you have some like really serious villains, one maybe not so serious villain.
Yeah.
If they were working for the Justice League. So anyway, this is another good one.
Yeah, it's fun.
DC, they really are on a roll right now.
DC knocked it out of the park this week.
Yep.
Marvel, on the other hand, is one of the number 2s we have this week.
Did you want to mention that?
Oh, no, I forgot. You have that. My copy of Green Lantern.
Yeah, Green Lantern 33, which is legacy numbering, is 600, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, 600th issue. Is like a new direction for Green Lantern that was pretty good, given that we've talked about this before. It's been a long time since Green Lantern, basically since the Jeff Johns heyday, like 10, 15 years ago. 15, 20 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
And Blackest Night and all of that stuff. Since Green Lantern has felt like it knew what it was doing, and I feel like this one is kind of a cool idea. It's sort of... was it Kyle Rayner, who has not been in the spotlight?
Right.
He's been around, but not in the spotlight for decades.
Yep.
Is going to be the main story, I think, and he's going to be a Green Lantern based on Earth, which I actually think, even though I often will say, like, I think the Green Lanterns with their power level are kind of more cool as cosmic heroes.
Yep.
But he's an exception. I like him. I like him on Earth. I think making him Ion and stuff like that was goofy.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a split story. Hal Jordan will headline the other portion.
Yeah, and I really like Hal Jordan's status quo they set up for him here. He's out in space.
Do we want to say what it is? Okay.
It
is a neat idea, though.
Kyle, being an artist, that was interesting. He put up against a villain who is like an AI studio boss.
Yeah, and who are these guys are all salivating to get rid of all the artists in their life, and they build a story around that. But at the same time, like, we know that Kyle is on Earth to hunt escaped Green Lantern criminals that are undercover on Earth or gone into hiding, which is a cool idea.
Kind of a Men in Black style thing, actually.
Yep. And he's got, like, I didn't know that lady who was with him, but she's a time traveler and seemed like a fun character.
Yeah, I don't know where she's from either, but yeah, fun character.
And then, there's also, like...
well, and they do recaps of both their origins here. They recap Kyle's, they recap Hal's.
This is, like, a double-sized issue because of that 600 thing, so there's, like, sort of... bonus features. But actually, the origin recaps were both well done. I think they got Ron Mars to do the Kyle one, who was the guy who created him.
Yep. No, he wrote a backup story.
Oh, that's right.
Jeremy Adams writes this entire book, except for Ron Mars did a backup story.
But I did think that he did a pretty solid backup story. Yeah. But anyway, good Green Lantern issue. If you were looking for a jumping on point that has both Hal, the iconic Green Lantern, and his the second most, well, I take that back. John Stewart came back because of Justice League International or Unlimited, but basically a favorite to many.
And I'm going to mention
also with Harley Quinn.
Right, that was what I was going to mention. This is another jumping on point where basically it's issue number 60, but new creative team this go around.
Yep.
Basically sees Harley a little unhinged, but she, even more so, she is taken on sort of a crazy quilt-looking Batman costume and is fighting random villains in the street. There is a reason for that. Okay. She's a little bit... I think something happened between her and Poison Ivy that kind of sent her off the edge.
Man, I like them as a couple, but you just know anybody dating Harley Quinn is going to be volatile.
Yeah.
But I will say, the art in this is spectacular. It's kind of very kinetic, kind of Sanford Green kind of stuff. Their name is Olivares.
Okay. Who's the writer?
It is Carlos Olivares, and Elliot Kalin is...
don't know the names.
But I was really impressed with the art. I thought the story was a lot of fun. There was a final page, like, that kind of made me interested. But I think if you're in the mood for kind of chaos, this is a really good one to jump on.
Worth noting that we're trying to find numbers on all these, so we may sell out too quickly on a few, like Green Lantern and Harley Quinn. Yeah. We have variant covers, that kind of thing. But
we may get a few extras, too many on others. So.
But if you come in and you don't see it, let us know. We're probably gonna try and reorder and get them back in time, and we can always take a special order if by chance they're gone by the time you come in. Or if you listen to this podcast and you're like, oh, I want to read that Green Lantern, email us before we open on Wednesday because I have a feeling they might go pretty quick. And the Green Lantern one, like I said, we don't have the regular cover. We have like some cardstock ones, a glow in the dark one, and a foil one.
Yeah. Right.
And the Harley Quinns are all like cardstock variants. They're all really beautiful covers, but. If it sounds interesting to you, you might want to drop us an email, try and nab it before we get the reorders in.
Speaking of really good comics.
Well, I have a few other things.
Oh, okay.
There is I think it's Mad Cave did Honor and Curse Eternal, which is a sort of Highlander by way of ninjas.
Yep, that's exactly right. I haven't read it, but basically when I was making up the sign, that seemed clearly the case. There's a, 400, I think, year old, or maybe 600 year old ninja who's gained immortality, but it's kind of like because he's like part possessed by a demon or something like that. And he's been trying to like live in this kind of quiet life of penance. Jump ahead to the present day. He's in New York, and there's like some sort of demonic threat that's going to force him to use his ninja abilities and his immortality. It's for sure kind of Highlander riff elements on it.
I'm flipping through it. It is really beautiful artwork.
Yeah, I think like if you kind of want some badass immortal ninja ass kicking action, this is probably going to be a good book to check out.
Who doesn't want that in their life, Dave?
I know.
We also have some facsimiles. Invincible Returns #1, which was middle of the Invincible run, right?
Yeah, it's basically introduces Thrag.
Okay.
Who is Thrag?
He is the Vulturemite leader.
Oh, okay, got it.
Silver Surfer #1 facsimile, the original John Buscema, Stan Lee Silver Surfer.
Yep, that was when
really
Surfer was like stuck on Earth and stuff like that, and some sort of iconic warrior poet style Silver Surfer.
This is a prestige format. It's thick.
Yeah, it was a big issue. Yeah,
it was really good.
And then some notable second printings: Cyclops #1, Marc Spector Moon Knight #1, Dorc #2, and Ultimate Endgame #2.
People should really try out Dorc. It's a ton of fun.
They've been trying it out. Although speculators have also been buying them up.
I want some people just like
to actually read it. Yeah.
Yes.
So, one of my favorite books this week that was not amongst DC's was Wolverine: Weapons of Armageddon #2. This is Chip Zdarsky. It is tying in Wolverine's history with the history of the Super Soldier Nuke, with the history of the Lost Captain America that Chip Zdarsky introduced in his opening cap.
I kind of want to preface this as that I know people are like, "Oh, it's just another Wolverine book," and I'm like, "This is something more."
This is
kind of deeper, more espionage-y. It's also
leading into the Armageddon Weapons of Armageddon crossover. There'll be the summer crossover that is going to reintroduce the Avengers by means of Chip Zdarsky.
There's a certain grit and realism to this that kind of makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been impressed with Zdarsky's writing abilities.
It's really good
over time, but I think what he's doing here and what he's shown in Captain America is like he's stepping up his game even more.
I think he's building the universe. He has a new character that's introduced in here, as well as using Nuke and Wolverine.
And by the way, well, finish your thought, then I'll say something.
I think he's being more ambitious than a lot of writers are. A lot of writers at Marvel and DC will do the play with the toys,
right?
But they don't want to add too much, especially after. I mean, Brubaker was sort of set this of I'm never gonna make my own characters because I don't, I got screwed over on the Winter Soldier.
Right.
Some of them are I'll take my original stuff elsewhere and I'll play with the toys at Marvel and DC, which I understand. But Zdarsky's doing both. He's playing with the toys and adding new continuity and stuff onto it.
And new characters.
Characters.
But what I was going to say is, Nuke, when he first appeared in my favorite Daredevil story, Born Again, he was this drug-addled, kind of almost counterpoint to Captain America, a drug-addled, hyper-patriotic, super right-wing, arguably, character. But and who would did not worry about civilian casualties. He'd be like the maniac burning down the village in Vietnam.
Right.
And I kind of thought, cool, terrifying character in that Daredevil story, but very one note. And it's not like he's not super focused in this. He is still the drug-addled super soldier. But they are starting to kind of build it out where, I'm almost getting a little sympathy for him.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
The connective tissue that he has with Wolverine
the Weapon Plus
is just
project.
that is creepy.
Also, when Wolverine first faces down with the lost Captain America in this, it's a great 2-page action sequence. And his, thinking about, this guy moves like military. He's if he's actually a Captain America, I can't let him get that shield. There's some cool moments.
It's cool. I love when you kind of hype up your threats that, the villains. Let the hero be, we know Wolverine is a badass, but if he's nervous he knows how dangerous Captain America is, how good he is, he rightly is don't let him get to the shield.
Nobody's sold out here. Wolverine, Cap, and Nuke all come off really well.
And the art is really
the art's really good.
Is it Maresca?
I don't know what Weapons of Armageddon is going to look like. The central thrust of it is that Red Hulk is going to go rogue and basically try to overthrow the country, I think.
Oh, really? That's okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that.
That fits the seeds of what we've been seeing in Captain America. where he's been sidelined once too many.
Yeah.
He thinks he knows better
he was
than
just
his
put in-
superiors.
Doom threw him in a prison for forever.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
definitely feeling the effects.
It feels like an organic storyline, which I appreciate. I think, although this is doing well, I think people might be sleeping on it.
I agree. I think people do not know
Well, I think that's
how
what I-
good Zdarsky's cap run has been.
I think they just see it as another Wolverine book.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Honestly,
definitely
if it
not.
wasn't for
Something
Zdarsky's
more.
participation, I would have thought that too.
Same. I'm not looking for a new Wolverine book.
Yeah,
but it's great.
It's super good, and it's going to
Do we
lead into, I
still
think,
have issue 1?
some cool
I
stuff.
believe we still have issue 1. If not, there's a new printing coming.
If you're listening to this, pick this up.
Yeah. Wolverine, Weapons of Armageddon. Number 2, another big number 2 this week. What I think is the strongest Vertigo relaunch book.
It is the strongest.
It is called The Peril of the Brutal Dark, an Ezra Kane mystery. We talked about it last time when number 1 came out.
Remember
Nick
the
and I-
guy who's like is it something like the 30s, 40s?
It is set in the 30s, right on the cusp of World War II.
He's
In fact,
like a tough-
World War II is going on, right?
I believe it is, or just
Like, the European aspect of it is going on.
He's like
Yes.
a private investigator with a little dose of Indiana Jones because he has a background.
Yeah, he
in
was an
archaeology.
archaeologist, and in fact, his other character here, who's like his mentor, with a bit of a twist that I didn't see coming, like that he was a very talented archaeologist, and he sort of left it all behind to become a private eye.
It's got a little stripe of Hellboy in it.
A little bit. There's some supernatural stuff.
But he himself is just a dude, right?
He's just a private investigator who kind of the quintessential works for hire.
Yep.
His
Well
cases
done.
are kind of intertwined at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. This just hits kind of a soft spot for me of kind of pulp supernatural action adventure.
Yeah. Well, then they described it as like Maltese Falcon meets Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And it's very much that, but with even a little bit more tinge of a supernatural, and it's not just the arc. It's like a little more overt supernatural stuff in it. I really like the second issue of this, and I can see myself. I hope that they're. And as
I hope
a
this is
mystery,
successful.
This means that they want to do more of them.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be like Case Files.
And I would definitely read more of this
Yes,
character,
I would
so I'm
too.
looking forward to more of it. White Sky number 2. This was one of the big speculation books. So we got number 1 back in last week. This was a world in which the sky turned white and the world was destroyed by ghosts.
Oh.
I'd forgotten that aspect of it because this issue has the girl in the lead. Her dad disappeared on her, and she is left in this sort of post-apocalyptic world, but she's being haunted by this ghost. And I was like, what is going on? I'd forgotten all about the sort of supernatural aspect of it. And she's also on the run from some raiders. She meets up with this mysterious person who she starts traveling with, and there's people chasing after that person. It's an interesting post-apocalyptic. It's a different post-apocalyptic
on the surface
book.
looks a bit like The Road.
Yes.
The Cormac McCarthy thing.
But it's a little wilder than that.
But certainly the ghosts thing is like its unique hook, and I think people looking for those kind of Image comics that are a cool genre comic that's a little off the beaten path, I think might dig this.
This honestly, not unlike Ezra Kane, this could be a Vertigo book.
That's
feels
true.
very Vertigo-esque.
That's true.
Predator Bloodshed number 2. I really liked the first issue of this. I like the second issue quite a bit as well. It's basically a illegal fighting tournament in like the 2030s.
That's right.
And these guys are facing off against the Predator, and they're starting to one of the guys in their group is like former CIA, and he knows about the original Predator because he read the stories about Dutch and all that. So he's able to give them a little bit of info, and he's like, yeah, lights being out doesn't help us. They see by heat vision.
Oh, that's cool.
And so he's like, they have a little bit of information. It's really good.
It's weird how we've gotten to some good genre stuff
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah.
There was a customer who picked up the Captain America Aliens thing, and he's like,
Yep.
"Oh, this is so crazy! I've got to give it a shot." And I told him, I'm like, it's actually good.
It's really good.
Like, it's not like
Yeah,
just
I liked it quite a
campy
bit.
good or ironic good. It's good.
Yep. Also, speaking of, Godzilla Infinity Roar.
This is my favorite Goofy title, by the way.
This is Jerry Dugan, Javier Caron, who's been doing the Godzilla vs. Marvel. Godzilla has been taken over by Null.
Yep.
This is cosmic Godzilla, basically.
Yep, and he is fighting his way through the Shire Empire, which means he's thrown down with Gladiator.
And you say Shi'ar like I do, but I think it's Shi'ar, right?
No, it's Shire.
That's what I always say.
I always say Shire.
In this room, it's Shire.
Listen, there's a whole 90s cartoon where I think they say
90s
Shi'ar.
cartoon's wrong, we're right.
No, they're
All right,
wrong.
that's why we didn't like X-Men 97, right?
That's right. But he throws down with another big monster in a pretty fun way. And there is he throws down with a Marvel cosmic character with a visually very surprising moment.
Can I ask a logistics question?
Sure.
I don't know if he's like sort of being manipulated, puppeteered, but how is he getting around through space? Can he fly?
Null gives him like super symbiote powers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but symbiotes can't like just fly through space.
Some symbiotes can. Remember, he could make like wings and crap like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what he's not just like a Venom symbiote. He is like the god of symbiotes.
I was trying to figure out if he was like breathing like cosmic energy and like launching himself
like Iron Man, like firing himself into space.
Yep.
No. Generation X-23 number 2. Nick, I know you like this one quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh wait, which one is that? Did I miss? There's so much stuff I still need to read this week.
Yeah, it's basically dealing with basically the project that made Laura.
Yeah.
Continuing I like the first issue of that. I need to read that.
And she's meeting some more young mutants, trying to figuring out how her best friend Kaiden.
That was from like her earliest origins.
It was from NYX.
Yeah.
Is involved somehow. I thought it was a good continuation of the first issue, leading to some interesting stuff. I like this version. I wish she was still called something other than Scout.
Yeah,
Gabby.
Same.
But great name. I'm a fan.
No, Honey Badger's better. Dave's wrong.
Yeah, and that's gonna definitely win all the polls.
He's wrong as everyone who mispronounces Shire.
But I will say, I think my favorite X book that's kind of churning along right now also sees its third issue this week, is Inglorious X-Force.
It's Cable's team.
This book is taking silly ideas that Marvel Universe has come up with over the years and kind of turning them on their head a little bit.
Yep.
I know this is actually dealing with something you outright hate, Randy.
Yes, but they made fun of it, and so I was okay with it.
But this issue focuses mostly on Tabitha.
Yeah.
Boom Boom. And it's told from her perspective in most of the thing.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Nick, if you had told me that I was going to really like this book with Boom Boom and Ghost Rider Wolverine.
And Wolverine's son?
Yeah, that's Helverine. He's got the Ghost Rider.
Right, that's right.
He's riding up the building on a motorcycle.
I forgot.
So he is actually a Ghost Rider and a Wolverine. I like Cable and Archangel, who I don't really care for either.
Yeah,
but I like...
And Miss Marvel, who I really like. I would not have believed you, but Tim Seeley's making it work. This is super fun.
It is. It's utilizing silly things in the Marvel universe, but in a unique way. I really like Tabitha's assessment of Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't kind of trust her because she's too good.
Nice, yeah.
Too nice.
Yeah.
And she's like, no one's that nice.
She actually had a good childhood and parents who trust
her. That's some good character interaction.
It is.
People don't have to always get along perfectly, but they also they don't have to always be full fighting. They can be kind of like, I don't like their vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious.
I feel like if I was on a lot of superhero teams, I'd find a lot of people who I don't like their vibe.
Yeah, probably.
And this also continues the Domino and her pet squirrel. For some reason, she has a squirrel now.
Weird.
But I really dig this book a lot. It is by far one of my favorite X books. Right?
Quick aside, y'all mentioned the Ghost Rider driving up a side of a building or whatever. There's a great bit in the Flash comic where when he's talking about this week, he's talking about super speed shouldn't let you actually run up a wall, right? He's like, but Speed Force, go with it.
Yeah, his version of Speed Force is like, don't think too hard about it.
Yeah,
that's what I want for my. I
thought it was great. He acknowledged it's almost like him as a writer saying, "Listen, I'm a science guy, but this thing, the Speed Force is borderline magic, and we're gonna let it be what it is." Yep. He didn't try and force it to be science-y.
Punisher number 2, which finds Frank and Microchip trying to solve the sort of brain issues Frank is having. They take him to an unlicensed doctor, a corrupt doctor. And also,
I guess he can't go to your average doctor.
While he's doing that, Jigsaw is moving into position against Tombstone's organization.
Okay.
Classic Punisher stuff.
Fun.
Yeah. Absolute Warmer number 18. I think, Dave, you and I would also say this is probably a pick of the week kind of thing.
Maybe except because that I want to shine a spotlight on the newer stuff that's hitting.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite book of the week.
This is part 3 of 5 of the Zatanna versus Wonder Woman.
This is the most time these characters have gotten to talk, argue, fight, all this stuff. It's so good.
It's really good.
Hayden Sherman's look for Zatanna is so good.
That's going to launch 1,000 cosplays.
Oh,
in fact, I think Jeanette is actually working on one.
It has been talked about, yeah. The art is killer in this. We talked about, Nick, you and I were talking off mic about the coloring. This is no knock on the artist whatsoever who's doing amazing art, but the coloring is almost like its own separate piece of art.
Yeah, Jordan Blair is really good.
Yeah, it is a spectacular book. It is everyone's... At the store, it is our favorite absolute.
The thing where this bit later on in the issue where Wonder Woman comes out in her full armor with that sort of fur cape and stuff like that. And Zatanna's like, that's a hell of an entrance.
Yep.
It's such a cool scene.
Yep.
But we also get Absolute Martian Manhunter number 10.
Right.
Yep.
That's got 2 more issues in it.
Yep.
I haven't read this.
That's interesting. I just there was one of our customers who's happens to be a 14-year-old guy who I'm like always wondering what comics will hit for people or not. He just caught up on Martian Manhunter and really likes it, and it reminded me of like the weird shit that I would be reading when I was probably 14, like Morrison's Doom Patrol or something like that. I always like when younger readers can plug into something kind of weird and offbeat like that.
Talk about colors. I mean, is Javier Rodriguez doing all the coloring in this? I think he is. It is like psychedelic and.
But there's no way he's doing a monthly book where he writes, draws, and colors it, right?
Well, he doesn't write it.
I mean, but draw and color, that's a lot.
I believe it just says art. There is not a colorist. He is.
I've seen his. I think I've seen color work that he's done on his social media and stuff like that. That's some double threat.
This is psychedelic to the max.
Yes.
I swear.
Rogue number 3, which I'm kind of enjoying this sort of flashback to Rogue.
There's another book I need to read this week.
So it's she's dealing with Constrictor in the modern day, and I really like their take on Constrictor here. But she's dealing with the story from her days as the early Brotherhood because her memories are fuzzy. And so we're slowly seeing her regain her memory. So it's jumping between modern and past, and it's really good. I was enjoying
the flashbacks. And to quick cut in with a point here, there's no doubt that DC is on a special roll right now.
Sure.
But Marvel is cooking.
Marvel's cooking right now.
And I think that's why there's a surge in single-issue sales and why, speculation is also honestly happening as well.
Because also Image is kicking butt. Image has a bunch of new stuff coming out that's really good.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody is bringing their A game, and it's great. Rogue, I just want to say she's currently, her powers are a little haywire, so she doesn't have her super strength in her flight, and it's being real unpredictable. And that makes for a more vulnerable character.
Yep. She did something very cool, I remember, in the previous issue. I haven't read this one yet, but I will.
It's really fun. Iron Man number 3, Joshua Williamson, who we talked about earlier, doing that really fun Superman, is doing a really fun Iron Man. I
forgot where the last one left off.
His premise of what Madame Mask is doing and why she's doing it is really interesting. This has Iron Man interacting with MODOK in a way we haven't seen before. Introduces a new Citizen V. And there's a great bit with Citizen V, which, by the way, I'm like, Tony probably can't smell in the armor, can he? But he says it's not Zemo. He wears an awful cologne when he's in a costume, which is such a nice touch.
Yeah. This is good art, too.
The art's really good.
I don't know who the artist is.
Also, Tony has a first date with someone.
Yep. Who's not like a super famous person.
No, she is a chef. Yeah. But he's making good use of Melinda May from the Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. I really like where Madame Mask is operating out of. There's some cool S.H.I.E.L.D. AIM Iron Man stuff going on in here. I'm really digging this book.
Dave, you have to come up with a name for a Josh Williamson Tuesday, because this is another one.
He's
Williamson. Got a couple of books this week.
Man.
Williamson's Tuesday.
How about just Joshin Tuesdays? Yeah, there we go.
Nailed it. It is a Ryan North day too. What do we call that?
Go North, young man.
Go North, young man. Because Fantastic Four number 9 and Flash.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is Invincible Woman Part 4, which is an evil Invisible Woman who basically her power is almost cosmic level. She's thrown down against Galactus and the FF. It's interesting because they bring up the Maker, who is the evil Reed Richards. It's fun and gruesome and really interesting to see them fighting an evil cosmic invisible
Ryan
woman.
North too?
Ryan North as well, yeah.
He is got a foot in Marvel and a foot in DC now.
Yep, for sure.
Interesting.
Well, because he's not just writing, he's writing Fantastic Four and Flash, and I feel like he has another book that I'm forgetting.
He's all like freelance bitches.
And then the 5th part of the Death Spiral, the Amazing Spider-Man Venom Carnage crossover. I think, Dave, you were saying everything kind of comes together in this issue.
Yeah, the previous issue I was especially about because it was like a Carnage focus, and that's Charles Soule's Carnage take.
And Charles Soule wrote it.
Ben Levin, and it had even the artist from that. I haven't been following Spider-Man, and I'm not super interested in Joe Kelly.
Yeah.
Joe Kelly's run. But you know what? I like this issue a lot.
I like this issue, too.
It's basically, without saying too much about it, everybody has their first serious run-in with Spiral, in a way. Yep. It also kind of gets them all on the same page. So you got the MJ Venom, the Eddie Brock Carnage, and Spider-Man, and they all have different motivations. They're at odds. They're sometimes
strong opinions about things.
They're very worried about a Carnage takeover, which has occurred, at a certain point in this. And yet, they kind of are like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing.
Right, they have to focus on it, yeah.
And there is some very interesting stuff that happens. I think Ed McGuinness's art was cool.
Really good in this, yeah. Also, my prediction for what's coming to Paul, I'm feeling very confident about it.
It's not looking great for him. It's not looking great. Poor Paul.
Other single issues? I know Ultimate Endgame 3.
Yeah, there's an Ultimate Endgame 3, which
is that Magic?
She's been in the Ultimate. She's evil,
right? Because Colossus and her.
But yeah, this has some pretty big ramifications for the universe as the Maker continues to go crazy.
Yep.
The third and final part in Uncanny X-Men of where they're fighting like the monsters, like Frankenstein.
Right, it's like Frankenstein and Werewolf by Night and all of that stuff.
Third issue of Psylocke Ninja, Tim Seeley's kind of flashback into Psylocke and the hand, or. Yeah, the hand.
Yeah, it was the hand. And the Mandarin.
And the Mandarin, yeah. So it continues to be a fun time. And then the third issue, which I didn't get a chance to read, of Dungeons of Doom.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of gritty people trapped under Doom's castle fighting for his craziest experiments.
Exactly.
The only other thing I was going to mention is just that the second issue of the Universal Monsters Phantom of the Opera is out.
Yep.
With the sort of elaborate painted artwork. So a lot of people have been kind of following those Universal Monsters. And if you're doing it, there's a new one this week.
Collections-wise, there is a Black Widow and Captain America by Waid Samnee hardcover. This collects their 10-issue Black Widow run and their 8-issue Captain America run. Really good stuff from a couple good creators. They did the legendary Daredevil run.
Yeah.
I was glad to see this collected in an omnibus. DC Finest, Superman Time and Time Again, which is right after the Crimson Kryptonite in the 1980s. This is when I first read Superman.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, Randy. There's multiple incidents where you were just starting to read something right as I was tapering off.
Yeah.
And so that was the case here, and I haven't read these, but this is this the S.H.I.E.L.D. era?
Yes. It's
where there were 3 Superman books and each one they were all connected.
Yes.
Even though their writers were different.
This is the Superman Lost in Time, and he's fighting dinosaurs and stuff. It's Jerry Ordway, it's Roger Stern, and it's somebody else.
Some great creative teams.
Yeah. Exquisite Corpses Volume 2, which I need to catch up on that. That's the sort of battle royale.
Ultra rich people who each have almost like a house serial killer.
It's sort of battle royale meets The Purge by James Tynion.
Yep.
Imperial Trade, that's the Marvel crossover that reset their galactic universe.
Yep. It's funny, because of the stuff going on in Nova, I'm retroactively kind of interested in that, even though it wasn't kind of exactly my thing.
There were bits and pieces I liked throughout it.
There were bits and pieces, yeah.
Lock and Key, IDW Classic Collection. This is their mini, kind of like their DC Compact, the Marvel Premiere.
Oh, interesting.
So they're putting the first volume.
That's that's Joe Hill's book for that.
Of Lock and Key in that
This is
format.
great stuff.
It was like a sort of a dark fantasy.
Yep.
Horror tinged for sure.
Power Fantasy Volume 3, that's Kieran Gillen's book about superpowers as superpowers.
Yep.
Basically superheroes as superpowers.
You mean world superpowers?
There's only 12 of them, but they kind of run the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Universal Monsters Invisible Man hardcover, which I think we would all say is the best of that run so far.
I didn't realize that was hitting.
That was the Tynion with Danny on art.
I probably need to pick that up. Oh, that was. Yeah. That's right. I was trying to remember what she had done lately that was kind of so on my radar. Yeah. That was it.
That was it.
Right before the current Batwoman run.
Yeah. All right. That's comics for the week. We're going to take a break. I'm going to bring a trailer and some news. And then Dave and I might do a wrap-up on Starfleet Academy. All right, we got 3 trailers to talk about. Let's start with a big one, that is Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yep.
I have been anxiously awaiting this. I think the Spider-Man movies are high in my estimation of MCU movies.
It's been 3 bangers, basically.
Homecoming, you and I both weren't super into it first.
That was the first one, right?
And it kind of won me over.
Yeah, it was somewhat made retroactively better by the addition, by what came after.
Yeah, and then, what was the second one? No, it wasn't No Way Home. Far From Home,
yeah.
Which was a little goofier, but also...
I really liked Far From Home.
It's a great take on Mysterio. It had Peter Parker dealing with Tony Stark's death.
And is this a weird one where, for me at least, the third one is the best?
The third one is the best. Absolutely, it's the
best.
Which
is crazy.
Because it also, it's the best because it brings in the other Spider-Man, which I don't even like.
Right. It shouldn't have worked.
It shouldn't have worked. I've only seen one of the Andrew Garfield ones and I hated it. I've only seen 2 of the Raimi ones and I wasn't crazy about either of them.
Yeah.
But yet, they managed to tap into what nostalgia I had and build this really good, and they left Spider-Man in a really interesting place where he basically is on his own. The Tony Stark connection is basically severed.
No one remembers.
No one knows who Peter Parker is.
Yeah. So he is kind of...
And Aunt May is gone.
Yep.
Reestablished in many ways as the classic comic book Peter Parker. A guy who's kind of isolated, sad sack, no super tech. He's got to do it all himself.
I'm a little worried that this is going to be too angsty.
Right.
That is definitely the vibe of the trailer. Is basically that he's sad. He can't go back to MJ and Ned, and they're living their lives.
But we talked about this off mic yesterday, and I also think that it's possible that they leaned into that for the first trailer as sort of backlash, because we know that there was some backlash against stuff like Thor, Love and Thunder, and things like that, being too goofy. And all of their little promos for Doomsday have been kind of leaning into the serious side. So this may just be let's hook them with some drama.
Yeah. But we do get, we see Punisher.
Yep.
And a really fun little bit with Punisher.
Yes.
We see the Hand. We see a brief look at Boomerang, Scorpion, and Tarantula, his classic villains.
Yep.
That could all be a Fantastic Four style montage.
We also see Tombstone.
Did we see Tombstone? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Did you mention Banner?
And Bruce Banner, who does not know who he is.
Right. Does not who Peter Parker is.
But he is basically his science advisor. They're touching on the other storyline, which was the one where Peter gets organic web shooters, which is
JMS.
And that's a weird call.
Yeah. I don't know that I thought we all liked the mechanical web shooters.
We all do. I don't know why they're doing this.
It is weird. I will say the one thing that's kind of cool about it is this. I don't know what they're going to do with it. In general, when they take a story, they're going to put their own spin on it.
There's also two other things we see. We see some entity being able to kind of swap bodies.
And I don't know what that character is.
No. And we also get a voiceover by somebody who distinctly
sounds like Keith David.
It does sound like Keith David, which there have been speculations that is what's the Spider Slayer guy? Moreland.
Moreland.
Interesting.
Not Smite. Not Smite.
Yes.
Spider. That's a different thing.
Interesting. That would be
Moreland,
interesting. Yeah.
Because they're talking about the cycle of the spider and all of that stuff. So I thought this was a solid trailer. It's got great instances. I know out of John Bernthal and Spider-Man, Tom Holland are actual good friends.
Yeah.
So seeing them kind of have this repartee as Spider-Man,
the chemistry is there in that moment.
Is really good. A part of me thinks that all of these players, because we also have Sadie Sink in this as well,
right,
as playing as somebody.
We don't know what. Yeah.
Thoughts are that she's Jean Grey.
Right. But I've also seen Mary Jane would be up, or Gwen.
Not Mary Jane,
they were
Gwen.
They were going to do the redheaded Gwen.
But
that is a little weird, but
it is. But it's also a part of me thinks that this is trying to do way too much.
Right. On paper, it does sound like it is, but the Marvel Universe movies have sometimes been adept at
there's
that.
also Scorpion.
Yeah, I mentioned Scorpion.
Did you mention Scorpion?
I have to assume that there is something somebody who's empowering villains who, or who's got a cadre of merc villains. It's not going to, we're not going to get an origin story for all of these dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
Much I'm sure that
in the last Spider-Man, we did see all of the villains as well. So it's
all of the villains, 3 Spider-Man, it shouldn't have worked on paper.
The thing is, they've earned a lot of goodwill from me at this point. But it's not John Watts directing it, right? It's somebody else. It's Daniel Creston, who
actually I will give carte blanche because he's really good at what he does.
He show ran Wonder Man,
which is surprisingly
getting a second season,
which I actually thought was not going to happen because they dumped it.
I didn't think they were going to do a season 2, and I'm so happy they are.
Yeah.
Me too.
I guess the credibility it kind of got and the buzz that.
But I thought Shang-Chi was really good too.
Agreed.
He directed that.
Yep.
I think he is kind of one of those unsung directors that knows how to work within the confines of the Marvel Universe.
The first time I saw this trailer, I was a little underwhelmed.
Yeah,
me too. I think partially because it didn't have a strong focus. I couldn't tell quite what it was about. But that's okay. I don't mind that from a teaser trailer.
It's a reveal trailer. It's a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
And then, as I'm looking at it again, and I was watching on my little broken-ass phone previously.
Yeah.
Watching a little bit larger, there's some cool stuff in it. Just seeing the familiar faces of Tom Holland, Zendaya, whoever the dude is who plays Ned.
Jacob Batalon.
They're all... There is a bit of, it's old friends kind of time with that stuff. And yes, like I have to admit, I did not know Punisher was going to be in this. I haven't been following it closely.
Yeah, I'd forgotten.
So seeing him kind of looking like he's kind of badass at first, but then Spider-Man just casually webs his gun, webs his mouth, and he's like, "Go home, Frank." And I kind of appreciate that for all the gravitas that the Punisher brings. That when you go up against somebody like Spider-Man, you might just get shut down.
Yeah. There's also
weird.
The hand is weird, except.
That ties into mystical stuff.
Yeah, and also if Daredevil's in it, which I think he might be.
Right. It could be like they are trying to summon Morlun.
Yeah, or they're working for Morlun. Yeah, it could be.
So, Daredevil Season 2 hits this week, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So that probably hits tonight or tomorrow. Or starting.
24th, I think it's today, yeah.
Yeah, and then...
It wraps up in May.
And then they've just announced today that they're...
Punisher, The Last Kill. Which that is going to be because doesn't Spider-Man come out in May or is it in June or is it in April?
No, I think it's May. I think it's what they usually
so it's
do.
right after that.
So I think what they're doing is that this Punisher is the connective tissue into how he gets into Spider-Man.
I think that's entirely possible.
Which is cool. Although I've heard it's also a very mature, violent. I was looking up because I was curious.
Yeah.
Bernthal wants to kind of embrace the Punisher max of it all.
Yeah.
So I'm down with that.
Well, Punisher is the best part of the Daredevil show, the first season of it. So
I've heard good things about this upcoming season.
I'm hopeful. They got Jessica Jones back for it. I just wish it was a little less dour.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm
Have we heard is Mike Coulter showing up?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I think they got to be planning on it.
I would love that, actually. I liked him.
So, we mentioned those. Let's talk also about the Moana trailer, which I think we all were like, it's a good enough trailer.
It's the live-action version of it.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Arguably, you can say that about all of them. We have at times liked some of them.
Yes.
But we all like the Aladdin one.
I liked Aladdin, and I liked Jungle Book.
Yep.
And I haven't liked any of the others.
I've liked some of the others.
Mulan was okay.
Mulan had some cool stuff, and I'll say this, it arguably justified its existence by being one of the more different ones.
Yeah, Mulan wasn't a musical, and was a very different thing.
It when they take some risks, or at least change some things
This looks basically like Moana.
It looks like
it's
Moana.
just live action, yeah.
But the argument I can make, and I understand it, is some people don't do animation. So they want Moana to appeal to people who don't do it. There's a ton of people who don't do
it. But
animation.
they would see this, because it's still...
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I just figured those people have to take their kids or whatever.
Because animation comes with the stigma of, it's for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that shouldn't be the case, but I know some people have that. And they're dumb.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's actually an okay trailer.
It is.
It's solid. The Rock is charismatic as always.
The songs, which are very much sound like the original, they're not heavily changed, sound good. I thought the grandmother was maybe singing a song I didn't recognize.
Yeah, they always add a song.
So they'll probably expand upon her a little bit.
The little evil coconut people look good.
Yeah. Hey's in there.
Hey's in there.
Yep.
I assume Alan Tudyk is
sometimes, in Mulan, they cut the dragon, which I know some people found unforgivable, but for the kind of wuxia
more
style
serious
movie,
when they did,
it made sense to me. But this is definitely we're keeping it, and it basically looks like the cartoon.
Sure. Yeah. Then there was the trailer for Disclosure Day, the full-on trailer.
Yeah. This is Steven Spielberg's UFO-ish movie.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about.
UFO conspiracy theory, really.
Yeah. We've talked about it, like cover-up stuff. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this. We've watched at least 2 trailers prior to this. Mm-hmm. I think we're all interested in it, and this trailer maybe shows the most, while at the same time, they've still never given away big things about it. Yeah. But there is a character in it that you kind of know more about. Randy, you said he seemed like a sort of Oscar Snowden kind of whistleblower.
Edgar Snowden.
What is it?
Edgar Snowden.
Yeah.
But he may be Oscar Snowden because he's not Snowden.
Right.
But yes, it's a guy who works counterintelligence. He's a hacker kind of guy, and he basically stumbles on what is clearly like secret about alien technologies.
Yep. And
it's tied into Roswell.
There's an eerie scene where this woman is looking at a screen with him. You don't see what's on the screen, but she makes this kind of disturbed face, and she's like, "Are those human?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No."
And it seems like it's going to tie into Emily Blunt's character, who's a weather woman who's like being taken over by the aliens.
It looks like she's activating like sleeper cells.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got of sleeper cells.
But are they sleeper cells of aliens that are in human form? Are they allies?
Because there are some people who understand the language.
Yeah, and he's one of them, and it seems like they're going to become like an unlikely pair, going to release these secrets.
There is something of his original UFO movie Close Encounters to this,
Yep.
which ultimately followed Richard Dreyfuss, and I forget who the actress was, but basically two people who felt like they had been contacted and were drawn to a certain place at a certain time on the, Devil's Tower place. Where is that? Utah?
New Mexico, right?
New Mexico.
Okay. And like that, I see elements of like there's scary stuff in this, as well as some music that feels like that sort of transcendental uplifting. Maybe like there could be the excitement of alien discovery, the good side of it. Ultimately, I don't know quite where it wants to land. I'm still a little nervous that it's going to be like, reveal the truth, government.
You and I are a little nervous about conspiracy stuff at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely interested. Every trailer I see, it makes me want to see it more.
Like you were saying off Mike, Nick, like Spielberg's a consummate storyteller.
Yep.
He's shown that he in many ways still has it.
Yeah.
And this is one of his passions, I know, and I've always loved Close Encounters. There's almost no chance I won't see this unless it just gets the worst of reviews, and I bet it ain't gonna.
I think the one thing that gives me pause is the screenwriter of this is David Koepp.
David Koepp. That is my only worry
and
as well.
I'm kind of like, I don't really like his work.
Yeah.
What's a Koepp project?
He's definitely Hollywood. He's one of those who's the brothers that one of them died, and the Bruckheimers. He's a Bruckheimer level writer.
See, like a Men in Black 3 kind of writer or something?
I think something like that. Did he write the original Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi one? I feel like he did.
He wrote one of the Jurassic Parks.
Yeah.
Like, he's done good stuff.
Somewhat middling.
Well, he actually co-wrote the original Jurassic Park.
Okay.
So, I mean...
But he also wrote Jurassic World Rebirth, Stir of Echoes.
Stir of Echoes is good.
Is it? I thought it was all kind of forgettable.
No, Stir of Echoes is good.
He wrote Black Bag.
Which I did like.
He worked on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and also the Crystal Skull.
He also wrote War of the Worlds, though. Which
War of the Worlds I really liked,
things
actually.
I like and things I don't.
If you can exercise the Tim Robbins of it all, I think I'd be more...
Yeah, he did write the original Spider-Man, and he wrote The Shadow, which is a fun movie.
Wow, he is all over
Mission
the place.
Impossible. He is a Hollywood guy who worked with Spielberg a lot.
But he's capable of being quite good.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
It looks
he also wrote all the Robert Langdon, the Angels and Demons.
Nick, he wrote The Paper.
I know. I just saw that.
You and I both love The Paper.
The Paper is
I have not seen it since it literally came out, and I saw it at the theater, but I remember liking it.
I love The Paper.
Michael Keaton,
I've rewatched it a few
Ron
times.
Howard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy
Christopher
Randy
Reeve.
Quaid, Marissa Tomei.
Christopher
Davis.
Reeve. Oh, wow.
Yep. Great movie. The Paper. Okay. And then we got news. Let's talk one last bit of TV news. Mahershala Ali has joined Task Season 2. We talked about Task, I think, last week before. That is it was like the FBI thing that Mark Ruffalo's in.
Yep.
I didn't realize they were going to do a Season 2.
This is news to me. I completely...
And I didn't know that if Ruffalo's in it, Mahershala Ali is like going to be another agent who has like butting heads with him. It's like maybe another team. But I really didn't think we'd see more of Task. I thought Task was a done story.
Yeah,
But I'm
too.
happy to see a sequel to it.
Yeah, I thought the first season was amazing, and yeah, Mahershala Ali is a...
He's always good.
Tour de force.
I really do hope someday we get to see him play Blade.
I mean, that would have been really cool.
I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen.
I don't think it will.
And last bit of sad news. Sam Kieth, the creator of the Max for Image, passed away. Long illness.
He's one of those, like, many creators have sort of paid their respect. Some people had some long stories, but Kurt Busiek, I thought, said something that's very appropriate. He said something like, he's like, oh man, he's like, Sam Kieth, he's like, talk about, doing it your own way. Mm-hmm. And he was like, in the early days of Image, he was there, he was one of the first people of the second wave.
Yes.
He wasn't one of the original 7 creators, but he was like 8 or 9. And he did the Max, and like, there's nothing else like it, because it was like, yes, he was kind of a hot artist, but not in the way the other guys were. And his stuff was a little bit more ambitious and psychedelic. And, like, the Max was like this big, old, purple giant hero with, like, claws that looked like he was shooting the finger.
Yeah.
And, who you didn't know what his origin was, but would later be tied to, like, a homeless man.
Yeah.
Who was protecting this woman from an evil, like, otherworldly villain named Mr. Gone. And there was a mystic outback in it, which was not like the Australian outback, but an outback.
But it was based on the Australian outback.
It was, but there's like air whales and weird creatures and the is monsters and all that stuff.
It was an ambitious project for...
It was better, I think, than all the other initial Image projects. And it did get... It wasn't... Like, I remember there were sometimes gaps between the issues, but it did reach its conclusion. Sometime around 18 or 20 or something like that, and he finished it.
Didn't MTV adapt it?
They adapted, the first third of it.
It was good. It was good.
I liked the animation. It was interesting.
They also did a weird thing I had. Did you ever have this?
The cassette tape?
The cassette tape.
Yeah, there was an audio reading of a few
audio
issues.
drama, which was really
cool.
good. Yeah.
By all accounts, he was a kind of a quiet, introverted, weird dude, but like nice. Everybody says he was like a likable cat.
I met him in San Diego one year, and he was very nice, very sort of awkward and weird.
Yep.
But very, very sweet, and just a singular talent. Like really, one of these people who you couldn't mistake his work for anybody else.
I saw that there's been, and by the way, he liked the other Image creators. He kind of made his name initially. Well, kind of two things. One, at Marvel, he was the guy who was drawing like Marvel Comics Presents and stuff like that, and drew on these just this Hulk-like Wolverine, and the coolest, skinniest Nightcrawler. I loved his Nightcrawler.
He was the visual designer for Cyber, that villain.
Oh yeah,
which will always look like a Tim Keith character.
And he drew the first 7 issues of the Sandman, Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
That was a big one for me.
Yeah, that was Nick's connection to the character initially, or to
and Max. I remember picking up Max.
He's had some cool indie projects since then, but he was always a little bit of a below the radar kind of guy. I've been happy to see there has been a real outpouring for him, though. People really paying their respects.
Yeah.
Pushing for a cool art book from him, which I think would be very awesome.
Yeah.
Raise a pint for Sam Keith.
Yeah.
That's sad.
All right. Let's talk Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna spoil things. We're gonna spoil things for Nick.
That's okay.
All right.
It's not on my list.
And we're going to spoil things for people. So if you've not watched Starfleet Academy, I think Dave and I both say best Star Trek in a while.
Best Star Trek in a while. A show that I think I know because of pandemic and other stuff, it actually had a longer lead time than many Trek shows do, and I think that's why. I think after it gets on its feet, roughly around the 3rd episode, I'd say. I think that's why it's such a strong show ultimately.
Yep. They just announced, unfortunately, that season 2, which they've already filmed, will be their last.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
It sucks. And I know the behind the scenes of it, but I know that the parent company, Paramount, is run by pieces of shit who are Trump cronies. They have already ruined CBS News.
Yep. I'll tell you this. They just bought Warner Brothers after just the most disgusting, aggressive takeover I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And what they needed, if they cared, would be to do something to indicate, hey, we're not going to turn Warner Brothers into a right-wing shit factory. And this is the exact opposite move.
Yep. There had always been some pushback on Starfleet Academy
from fake-ass Trek fans.
From fake-ass Trek fans who were like, oh my gosh, there's a gay character, oh my gosh, a woman's a captain and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I'm like, a woman's been captain since the 90s.
Yep.
But anyway, what they failed to acknowledge, although the show ended up kind of I felt like it was winning converts.
Yeah.
It has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 87 or something like that. It's a high rating.
Well, I think, Dave, you and I both were kind of hoping it would not be good because we both wanted to cancel our Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I was ready to walk away.
And instead, it was so good it got me to resubscribe, which that won't happen now. So
yeah, I don't know if you remember, Randy. There's an episode that had it was the Deep Space Nine homage.
Yes,
episode.
And you felt a little off on it.
I felt off. I actually just heard a long form review from somebody who also felt off on that episode. But then the next episode, I was like, man, this is the best episode. And then they just kept following with one good episode after another, all the way to the end.
For me, the Deep Space Nine was where it all turned. I loved the Deep Space Nine.
My co-podcasters on Text Trek, who I'm, of course, I keep up with them, even though I'm not on the show regularly.
You still talk to people who used to podcast with?
I do.
Man, if we stopped podcasting, I wouldn't see either of you ever again.
They have to know my wisdom, Randy.
Oh.
No, they loved that episode, and so I was like, man, I'm just some sort of weird odd man out on this one. But anyway, it kind of doesn't matter because the point is, the show won me over in a big way. Mm-hmm. And we talked about it up to the last. There was only a few episodes left when last we discussed it.
Yeah.
And there had been a lot of cool character development, stuff going on with the holographic Sam.
The episode that focused on Sam and the Doctor was such a good episode.
Yeah, man, that was like a heartbreaker, and like if you were like have been following the Doctor since the Voyager days, a beautiful story for him.
They did a good job with the mix of like sort of the CW-esque like drama of like them being kids, and
it is,
and then but they would throw in like an episode where they were in space and in danger.
Yeah, I occasionally saw somebody say like. Will say something like, it's almost like backhanded compliment. They're like, I actually quite like the show. I know it's not for me, made for me, or whatever. Basically them saying, like, I don't watch teen dramas.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't really sort of feel that way. I'm like, if it's Star Trek, theoretically, it could be made for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to like everything Star Trek. But, like, I don't feel that because it's, like, essentially a college Trek show or, in the Academy, that it can't be for me. So I never felt too off-put by that. I found like a little of the dialogue a little too snappy.
Every so often, they were a little
but
too
West Wingy. But a lot of times I really liked the dialogue.
I loved all the characters.
Yep.
I think every one of the characters was a really good design.
Yep.
I would have loved to have had more of Jet Reno and her girlfriend, the Klingon
and
Jem'Hadar.
Jem'Hadar, right. And we will in the second season.
Yes, we will. I love Holly Hunter and everything she's in. She's great
so
as Ake.
You know that long form review I read? It mentioned one of my favorite scenes with her, which is one where sort of the big bad guy of it, Paul Giamatti's Noose Braca, I think, where we talked about this episode where he had the upper hand on her and he has to kind of almost lecture her and Hannibal Lecter vamp around her. And she has to sort of take it because he's got this heavy hostagey kind of thing over her head. And yet she occasionally gives this interesting pushback and occasionally dryly accepts it, but with this defiance on her face. And I'm like, it was so amazing the visual acting she did in a scene where she couldn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
But most of the time she is one of the lead characters on it, a person who is both like carrying a lot of weight, but is also kind of an energetic and you can tell she's a Starfleet person.
Yeah.
She embodies the ideals, even though she's on a redemption arc.
Also, Tatiana Maslany shows back up as Mir's mother, and kills the sort of interesting like she hates Starfleet and has reason to hate Starfleet.
Yep.
And where that all goes, and whether or not Mir is going to be in Starfleet, which he didn't want to be in the first place. Right. Has he adjusted to this family now, or is he going to go off and do his own thing? Right. That was all really well played.
Right. From the first episode, you basically saw that due to events beyond his control, he sort of ended up sort of a ward of Starfleet, and then kind of turned to essentially crime and petty theft and all this stuff as a kid, and was in prison.
Yep.
And broke out, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, he has always been the kind of bad boy with the heart of gold on the show.
Yeah.
And his first major arc comes to fruition in I think a strong way.
Agreed.
There's some cool space battle-y type stuff.
Yep.
Noose Braca either being very entertaining or maybe a little much.
He's very much a scenery chewer. Paul Giamatti's having a great time with it.
Yep. I will say this, one of the things I've thought about is like he is a arch villain who is different from Khan.
Yeah.
He acts differently. He's got like a little bit of that Lecter vibe to him where it seems like you can't always touch him, you know? There's always he might have something over you.
Yeah.
And you gotta like listen to him, and he loves to have the spotlight. And Paul Giamatti is having a great time with it. I like watching Paul Giamatti do stuff, even if it's a little hammy.
Yeah, this was like his shoot 'em up character here a little bit in space.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I'm trying to think. You know what? In that last episode or two, there was like a Sam has undergone like a sort of change of personality after the events where she revisited her homeworld of holographic sort of people, almost like a little sort of pocket dimension sort of thing, and that had this Doctor storyline in it. And I've particularly enjoyed her since then. There was a thing where she's like referring to the Doctor. She's like as her dad
because they went in and modified her memories.
What happened there, and I loved seeing her that like the actress doing such a good job of having like changed really, but just between episodes, and having this connection to him, where I really felt it. Basically.
Yeah. It's spectacular character work. It's really, as with all things Star Wars or Star Trek, it's very pretty. Like the designs and everything are really good. I am very sad we're only getting another season of it, but I'm glad we're getting another season.
Yeah,
like, we're not going to get more, and it's a shame, but one more season, 10 more episodes, I'm for it.
Right. It's not a series that tends to have, like, these sort of big, like, who's the big master villain the way Discovery was sometimes to its detriment.
Yes.
So, I feel like if they can give these characters some cool stories in the second season and a good send-off, then, I'll still be pretty satisfied with it, but, there will always be that part that's like, what could have been.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have liked to have seen it do at least as many as Discovery, which is 5 seasons.
Same.
Ideally, honestly, it would have been very cool if it could have done the 90s Trek thing of 7 seasons.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. The worst people were gloating about it, and they can fuck off.
That's the thing that makes me maddest about it, is people who are happy about it. I'm like, if you don't like the show, that's fine. Whatever.
But boy, so many of the times the objections weren't just the writing.
No.
And by the way, I also think there are some criticisms of the writing that I think you could have in there.
Absolutely. There are legitimate reasons someone not like the show.
Yeah.
But that's not what a lot of people are coming to it with. They haven't even watched the show.
Right, and a lot of times I would hear them say it's like, they were just trying to force woke characters, or the characters didn't behave organically, but I'm like, I actually felt the characters moved along very organically.
Absolutely.
I think people are saying what they want to think, the haters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's okay to have criticisms. I had criticisms, and have criticisms, but it's impressive when a show can win me over as strongly as it did.
Yeah, it's interesting that it won you over back, because you were kind of done with it at the beginning. You were like, eh.
I was ready to, after the DS9 episode, be like, you know what? I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope they have fun with it. It's just going to not quite be for me. And then the very next episode was basically what I thought the best episode of the season was.
And then it won you back.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is, I've seen people mentioning this, is that as first seasons of Star Trek go, it may be the strongest, other than maybe Strange New Worlds.
I think the original Star Trek actually has a great first season.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, it's got a lot of great episodes in there.
But Deep Space Nine is a solid but not amazing first season.
Right.
Voyager has a pretty bad first season. Next Generation has a terrible first season.
Yeah.
So I think the bar for this was they cleared it easily.
Yep.
So
everybody, if you haven't given it a shot, give it a shot.
Yeah.
If you like the Trek stuff,
recommended.
And definitely give it 3-4 episodes to win your heart and mind.
So just a quick programming note. Next week, probably we'll talk about One Piece Season 2.
Yep.
I think the plan is for some of us to watch some of it at least. I've watched 4 episodes so far, and I really like it. Next week, we're going to talk about Project Hail Mary.
Yep.
Nick and I both saw it. Dave is going to see it this week. Just real quickly, Nick and I both loved it and loved the book.
And that's what I've been hearing from the other people who've seen it, from other friends, that they loved it. And I have read the book and loved it. So if the movie, based on everything I'm hearing, I think I'm going to have a good time. Really good time seeing it.
It's a perfect adaptation.
Agreed.
So yes, either go see the movie, but if you want, sneak a read of the book too.
Read the book. The
book
is
as well.
And read any Andy Weir book. They're all good.
Yeah. And then probably we'll talk about Red or Not 2 at some point.
I'm going to try to see it. I'm not sure how likely. I will step out for that.
I will. I don't know if Dave's going to see it anytime soon.
I didn't care about Ready or Not.
Dave doesn't love Ready or Not.
No,
it's okay.
I know.
I loved Ready or Not, and I thought Ready or Not 2 was a great sequel. It does. I will say, it picks up literally the second Ready or Not ends.
You know what I say about Ready or Not 2? Not.
That's
finally I was able to use it.
I loved the first one.
Yeah.
So
you'll like the second one too.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
All right. That will do it for us for this week. We'll be back next week with more. And until that time, yo Joe. Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.